Meeting to order. Raymond, would you give us a prayer, please?
I would be honored. Move your hats and bow your head. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Lord, we come to you and we want to thank you for this day. Come together as one to conduct city business. We're stewards of the finances as well as decisions to move forward with our city business. Also, Lord gave us this beautiful day to work together for the good of all the people so that we may carry things, Jasper things in our community. Our population is dwindling, and we need to encourage new business to come to Jasper by meeting. It is possible for us and them as well as citizens. Let us be reminded that we are here for the citizens of Jasper and not the people. Lord, take us and let us and move our heart in the manner that we will make decisions that is actually and truly good for our community. Our community needs to grow, and I think that we've got to do something. People are growing all around us. So let our community and our government come together and do something in order to make this happen. So our children in the future will have a place to come back to and to stay here rather than leave and never come back. Lord, if you would, bless this meeting tonight. Let us make good decisions. Lord, I say this in Jesus Christ's name.
Amen. Thank you, Raymond. We have a proclamation for the American Red Cross. It says, in times of crisis, people in the Red Cross Southeast and Deep East Texas chapter come together to care for one another. The humanitarian spirit is part of the foundation of our community and is exemplified by the American Red Cross volunteers and donors. In 1881, Clara Bawden founded the American Red Cross, turning her steadfast dedication for helping others into a bold mission of preventing and alleviating people's suffering. Today, more than 140 years later, we honor the kindness and generosity of Red Cross volunteers here in Jasper, Texas, who continue to carry out Clara's life-saving legacy. They join the millions of people across the United States who volunteer, give blood, donate financially, or learn vital life-preserving skills through the Red Cross. In Jasper, the contributions of local Red Cross volunteers give hope to the most vulnerable in their darkest hours, whether it's providing emergency shelter, food, and comfort for families devastated by local disasters like home fires, hurricanes, and tropical storms, or donating essential blood for accident and cancer victims. Another wonderful thing the Red Cross does is support service members and veterans. Along with those families and caregivers through the unique challenges of military life, the Red Cross also helps to save the lives of others with first aid, CPR, and other skills. Their work to prevent and alleviate human suffering is vital to strengthening our community's resilience. We dedicate this month of March to all those who continue to advance the noble legacy of the American Red Cross founder, Clara Barton, who lived by her words, "You must never think of anything except the need and how to meet it." We ask others to join in this commitment and give back in our community. Now, therefore, I, Randy Sayers, Mayor of the City of Jasper, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the laws of the City of Jasper, Texas, do hereby proclaim March 22nd as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of the City of Jasper to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. Thank you. Any questions on your departmental reports? I'll tell you no. We have public comment. We have several. Hazel, would you like to be first?
Sure. May I go?
Yes.
I can make it up here.
You got 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. Raymond was right in his prayer that community and leaders should stay together, work together for our community. However, I think this broadband, I'm not real educated on it, but I think the way it was brought about was not good for our community. Did you even check with the citizens of our community to see if they would approve this, or if they could afford it, or if it would benefit our city? No, you did not. None of you did, that I'm aware of. So I think all of this was brought about in the wrong manner. You were not concerned about your community or the people of your community. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, a council member serving your city consists of more than just sitting up there grinning like a Chester cat and somebody nudge you to vote your way. That's not a good deal to me. And I've watched this, I've listened, I've stayed informed, even though I'm not a council member any longer. And you know, I've searched and searched for a word for this, what's taking place now. The only word I could come up with is this city was raped of $16 million when you could have applied for a grant for this broadband. Am I wrong? No, you didn't think about that. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in all of you, the way you handled this. It was wrong, and you know it was wrong. So I'm gonna ask you, before you sign, before you agree with this tonight, to think about it. Think about it and get out there and find out. I've talked to business owners, I've talked to city members, and residential members, and they're not for this. So ask yourself this question: how are you gonna make it on half the population? How is broadband gonna benefit our city and if half the population wants it and the other half does not? Is that gonna benefit our city? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So please, think about it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael out.
Okay, I'm done.
What's my time, Mayor?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Hey, would you watch your clock for me, please? Mike Lout, I'm a newsman and former mayor of Jasper. And I don't really think a newsman ought to be up here talking to you tonight, but I think I got a little something else vested in this. I'm a businessman here in Jasper. I own a business. I employ people, okay? I pay them. So I'm one of the things that contributes to the economy here. Since I went on the air in 1996, this town has dropped by 2,000 people in population. Okay, I don't like that. I don't think it's good for Jasper. I was mayor once upon a time. Many of you never knew why. I came to many city council meetings and saw that the city would not face a drainage problem on the east side of town that they created. They instead came up with a deal and said, well, those people shouldn't live there. They should never built there. Well, the problem with that was one of those guys had lived there since 1948 never had water in his house until the city did what they did. After coming to meetings and meetings and meetings and seeing people up here crying and talking about it and they couldn't get any relief, I decided I'd run for mayor. And I told those people, you help me get elected and I'll get the water out of your house. And guess what? They never had any water in their house again. It cost the city $130,000, but it was well spent, in my opinion. They didn't deserve to be underwater. Of course, they were poor people and nobody up here cared anything about them. That's not true. There was a bunch of people up here that did, but a lot didn't, okay? Second of all, I'd like to say tonight that as a mayor and a newsman, I've sit on that side of the bench. I've sit on that side over there. As far as that side over there is concerned, I've sit on the other side of the typewriter. I've been in jail before, so I know what that's like too. And you know what? I know the kind of the whole deal here. I was sitting over here reporting years ago when the city of Jasper, through its mismanagement and its city council, had to lay off people, shut down departments, and go out and borrow $1 million from the First National Bank to keep this city floating. A lot of you don't know about that, maybe don't remember it. I do. I wrote the stories about it. It happened. Just because I hear all the time say, we need broadband, we need broadband. But I hear nobody say, we have broadband. We have 2 services here. We have 2 more coming. But yet the city wants to go into this. Are we going to build donut shops? Are we going to build a funeral home? Are we going to build perhaps hamburger joints, restaurants? What all else is the city going to do? Just because someone doesn't believe that the city should go into broadband business, that does not mean that they're an enemy to the Jasper City Council. For instance, these police back here, it's been brought up how many times now about their pay? Nobody's addressed it on this council that I know of.
That's 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You're done.
Okay?
Thank you. Jay Sharp.
My name is Jay Sharp. I'm the host of Not on the Payroll, KJS, on Thursday nights. I'm here for a couple of reasons. First reason is the people are here to hold you accountable. As elected officials, the people of the city are here to hold you accountable, and as part of the checks and balances of a democracy. Once people begin to express concerns, it's your duty and responsibility to pump the brakes and listen. This is not about broadband. This is about why is this a good idea? And are there better solutions out here without blowing the SRMPA money? The Q&A session that you guys had with Kramer was a joke. Q&A website's a joke. It communicates to the people of this town that you don't have the leadership to endure public discourse about these decisions. There's always a conspiracy about people in leadership, that they're on the take, they're making shady deals on the side. And I'll be honest with you, this deal reeks of shadiness, this deal reeks of side deals. Second reason I'm here is to address you as a man and a father. Lived in a small town all my life. I've noticed that normally there's a couple of businessmen who run around bullying people, masquerading as bullies, pushing their weight around on the innocent and the blameless. I've also learned that the best way to deal with bullies is publicly. There's 2 types of people that I've grown to despise, and that's liars and men who abuse women and children. Now, Randy, no one would pick you off as a bully. You sit up there with your smirks and smiles, and you take advantage and bully people of this town behind the scenes. You are no leader. You've shown it time and time again, and you even confirmed it just this past week with cursing Debbie Foster out when she caught you guys in a backroom meeting, you, Schultz, and Daniels. I don't believe there's a man alive in this room right now, even the police that's here, that would allow you to handle their wife, their mother, their sister, or their daughter the way you cuss that woman. Be glad it wasn't my wife. Everyone in this town has something to say about David Schultz, and honestly, I gave you the benefit of the doubt, David. Okay? Then one day after you guys decided to boycott the meeting for everybody to come and ask questions, you decided to go down to my son's place of employment, accost him, a kid, going behind the counter, cornering him up, confronting him with things that I said. on their radio program. Okay? Everybody knows that's cowardice. I don't have to throw a rock. Everybody here would agree. Going to a son versus coming to me, a grown man, is cowardice. I will say this, I've made myself available to you guys. You got my contact information, but I'm gonna tell you this, I'm gonna make myself available in a new way right now. If there's one more attempt to go to my family, I can guarantee you, we'll deal with this another way.
Do you want to stay? Then sit down.
I'll be more than happy to stay.
Sit down.
But you need to listen.
Not to you.
That's the reason people are here, is to hold you accountable.
One for the mayor.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. First of all, Mayor, you're out of control.
Amen. Yes.
We still have questions for this city council that hadn't been answered yet. And reason being, on March the 3rd, you guys opted out not to come. I'm still gonna ask my questions, whether you wanna hear it or not. Did the attorney for this city have an opportunity to view this proposal and put his blessing on it? Or did the city manager be instructed on how it's to be structured? There's a whole lot of questions we have. Why is it such an urgency to get this broadband network? Yeah, I'm shaking because I am upset as a licensed ordained minister at you guys' behavior. Your constituents put you there, but yet you don't even think about it. Yeah, we have pictures of y'all going in and having meetings. We sure do. And it is a backdoor meeting. Why is it such an urgency? And not only that, you, meaning this council, has put your constituents in a precarious situation. Do I buy medicine, or do I pay my utility bills? Do I buy food? Do I go to the doctor? I would hate for part of my legacy to be, I could have helped God people, but I had a hidden agenda. What plan do you have to entice the citizen of Jasper to change over to this new network when the citizens are already complaining about a high bill? Did any of the council consider applying for grants like Charter Communication did? And oh, by the way, how much funds did Kramer invest in this company, their own company, if it's such a great idea? If it's such a great idea, it looked like Kramer would have put some money in. Something is wrong with this picture. And not only that, who will manage it if there's an outage? My grandmother once said, and I quote, "You can't start out wrong and expect to end up right." And not only that, I'm wondering why all of the police officers was here on Saturday. I thought it was crowd control. But after seeing the local media, listening to the local media, it wasn't crowd control, it was council control.
Ms. Foster?
Good evening, everybody. I'm sorry I have to be here, but I don't feel I can go without saying something tonight. In all my good conscience, I have to stand before you and make this outcry to you this evening, all of you. I don't agree with this broadband. There's just too many factors that don't add up. The city of Jasper already has broadband here, and others already are in the works to come. I believe the way this has been conducted raises many questions to a lot of us. The meetings behind closed doors, the mayor and the 3 councilmen that didn't show up for the special call meeting for the citizens to ask questions, and last Saturday's show and tell meeting, that was certainly not a question and answer platform. Daniels, I hope and pray that your connection with this Kramer group or any company that is involved with them has no benefit coming back to you. If it does, God help you. You have not been on this council a year and fixing to spend more than $16 million on this. And Schultz, you were appointed. You weren't elected at all. The people did not vote for you, and you're fixing to spend the biggest expenditure the city has ever seen. Laura, why does this have to be done tonight? If you love Jasper, and I know you do, then why the rush? If it's good for us now, it will be good for us down the road, but not till all questions are answered. I've been told about the secret meetings that Schultz, Sager, and Daniel have been having at Schultz Funeral Home, and personally, I saw photographs of all three of them come in and out of Schultz's business. And last Friday, I happened to personally witness the same councilman at the Jasper Lake Sound Rayburn Chamber of Commerce. I had a 10 o'clock appointment with Beverly Holly about the upcoming 4th of July. I heard voices, the door was ajar. I went in the conference room. There they were, all three of them. Sayer, Schultz were sitting at the table. Daniel's walking around. All I said was, "Isn't this hunky-dory?" And Sayers jumped out of his chair, charged straight towards me, and started spewing out obscenities over and over and over at me. "F you, Debbie Foster. F you, Debbie Foster. Kiss my ass, Debbie Foster." Until he was right in my nose,
What you laughing about?
in my face, nose to nose with mine, and still screaming at the top of his lungs. "F you, Debbie Foster." They knew they had been caught. That's what happened. They knew that I saw before my own eyes. All I could do was ask him, "What's wrong with you?" He lost and went absolutely crazy on me. "What is wrong with you?" And Schultz pulled him off of me to get, and he still screamed at me. Then Schultz started accusing me of calling him a crook, which I say, "I never called you that. All I could think was to get away from these people." So I ran out to Beverly's office, shut the door, and in 67 years
That's 3 minutes.
of being the servant. Well, I'm asking you not, Randy, to step
We have
down.
3 minutes. Thank you.
Step down.
Yeah.
Before you hurt somebody, before you hurt somebody.
Mayor thinks it is.
First item on the agenda is consider approval of 2 sets of minutes. Special called city council meeting workshop on February 10th, and a regular called city council meeting on February 14th. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Okay, all in favor,
Mayor.
say aye.
No, there's a correction. I have a
Okay.
question. Yeah. On the minutes on February the 14th, regarding my, in question to the code enforcement about a dilapidated, structure on Berry Street. There was also another structure, and that was the one on South Wheeler Street, the old cedar tree. So if you'll just make a note about that too.
So do I have a motion with those revisions?
I'll second.
You amend the motion?
Yes, right.
Yes. And who seconded?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Consider approval of the code enforcement request for variance at 824 Hickory Lane.
Jeremy?
I'll just sit back on that back line.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion. We accept that.
I wanna hear what, Jeremy has to say about that, please.
I'll second it so we can have a discussion.
Okay.
A second.
Can you review
Just
the-
want you to explain it to me.
Oh, you want to, okay, as you can see in your drawings there, the homeowners want to put in a swimming pool in the rear yard. According to the site plan, it's gonna encroach 5 foot of that 10-foot utility easement. We had Public Works go out and check the utility easement, to verify if the regular utilities actually installed there or any plans to. Mr. Kelly sent his crews out there, they went out and verified that there were no utilities installed in that easement. It was just dedicated in case they had to extend them and go that way. They have no plans, as far as we're aware of right now, to extend those into that easement. And so therefore we felt like it was an all right deal to go ahead and put them on the agenda for a variance request. So we have no objection to the building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion on the variance?
I make a motion that we accept, the code enforcement's request for the
Do I have a
variance.
second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Pass unanimous.
I abstain on that motion.
Okay. Consider approval donation of the past city council. This is to donate past city council mayor photos to the Jasper City Library or the Jasper Historical Museum.
We consulted with an interior designer, and we were trying to get the city hall a new facelift. And she just suggested, we're just getting crowded with all the pictures, so she suggested that maybe that we would just put our current council and our current mayor in the council room, and then we would put the other ones in, take them out of the frames, put them in a nice photo album, and either leave them here at City Hall, take them to the library, or take them to the museum, whichever one that y'all would prefer, and just give our City Hall an update, just so that it would be focusing on just what we have current.
I'd like to move that we, take all those photos and, put them in we're gonna put them in a photo album. I'd like to see them go to the Historical Museum.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Everyone vote? Yes.
Okay, consider approval for appointing the election judges for May 7th city election. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously. Number 5, consider approval. Bid received, bid Goodwin Lester for the citywide street sign replacement project.
I'd like to move that we accept that.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Passed unanimously.
Okay, Mayor, may I make a suggestion? We approved $125,000 for these signs. Of course, it's quite a bit substantial. So we need a motion that this signs money is gonna come from Cambridge funds, from 125 to 285, funded by Cambridge.
I'll amend that motion for that to be, come out of Cambridge money.
That was-
How much, Greg?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what was that amount, Denise? It went from what?
It went, well, y'all had approved up to 125,000. Yeah, the bid is 885,000.
Is that gonna cover?
Well, that's the bid that they
That's
proposed.
That's everything?
That's new signs, new breakaway signs, new.
That's all.
Cause I've seen some of the signs around here, you can't even read some of them, I think, so, yeah, that's good.
So we can do.
So we've got a motion, he amended his motion to go to that from Cambridge.
And the second was,
What's that?
David, seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, pass unanimously. Number 6, consider interlocal agreement for GLO flood buyout property transfers between the city of Jasper and Jasper County.
Mayor and council, the city was awarded $1 million in an acquisition and buyout program, and that was for homes that were in the flood. Well, the first flood, when it first came out, we only had one home that was interested. After last year's flood, quite a few more flooded. So in the city limits, we have 8 that is eligible for this project, but $1 million is not gonna cover those 8. Jasper County has about, I think, $8 million. They only have one home. So our grant writers, because it was Jasper and Jasper County, suggested that we deed those homes to them, they pay for them, they deed them back to us as if like a quick claim deed. But anyway, we would get it back, the houses would be destroyed, and it's what they call green space. Nothing can ever be built there again. The city maintains it just as what they say, green space is mowing it. So in essence, instead of giving the money back that the county's not gonna use, that they are donating their portion of it to the city, so that all the homes in the city that are eligible, that were flooded in the past, would be bought out. They go someplace else and have green space.
That was some of the stuff over there now where I was at first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. I can't give you the names of the homes, it's against a violation, but they are within the city limits, and they are all over the city limits. You know.
And they're not able to be occupied
No,
over there.
well, they just deemed them when they were flooded, how much?
Uninhabitable?
No.
They're not.
I mean, they might have been, but they are definitely in the flood zone, they flooded enough for them to deem that they were.
They flooded multiple times or just flood? Okay.
This is something, we had a grant writer that is the same grant writer that did it for Jasper County, so it was an easy swap, and it's an interlocal agreement that Judge Allen agreed to, so that it would benefit the citizens of Jasper.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion
I'll
that
second.
we,
And we have
accept
a
the
second by
interlocal
Councilman
agreement.
Schultz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Thank you.
Number 7, consider approval for a table item, the LED street lighting project bids.
I'd like to make a motion that we, I'd like to move that we approve that.
I got a question.
Okay.
We did this later.
Can't do that yet, we gotta vote on it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
No, there was a motion and a second, and now we
Somebody
have the
seconded it already?
discussion.
Okay, I
Yes.
didn't know it seconded. Excuse me.
No,
I didn't hear it second.
So, this letter, I read it, but. So the lights that were put on,
You want to do a later on?
they weren't there on and they weren't authorized to offer an ASA.
That's what it says.
How do we know that? I mean, we have a letter, anybody can write a letter, but how do we know that this is that these people are not authorized? I mean, if they're gonna make a bid on it, they need to be authorized to do it, is that correct?
Correct. I mean, the only thing.
Would you let
can
somebody
do-
bid on something that they're not authorized to do something, to use a certain product?
I don't know. I just got
I
this.
mean, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't what?
I wouldn't authorize somebody to bid on something, or I wouldn't take a bid from anybody if they're not authorized to use a product that we're supposed to be using.
I agree.
Okay, so this came from the manufacturer.
Supposedly came from the manufacturer, yes. So you've got a choice.
Could
You
make,
can rebid the project as we first had wanted to do it with a Leron light. No substitutes, no equals, just Leron.
So is that what we're gonna use? I mean, we've been working on this thing for months now. It's time to get past this.
Mayor and council member, the engineer that has rebid this twice, and this is what he does for a living.
Okay.
The way the state bid law is set up, you have to include it when you specify a product and forge. So,
You have to do that.
yes, sir, that's
Okay.
required
Did they
by
do that?
state law.
Yes.
And that's what they have done. It's a different name, but we asked them to provide us with the light, the fixture, and they provided us with a matching
In your
fixture.
opinion, it's the same light.
It's exactly the same. Whenever I look at the interior parts, everything, even the model number that's stamped on the inside is the same, which tells me that it came from the same factory, the same manufacturer.
Jared?
Jared.
Yeah, Jared.
Jared Taylor.
Yes.
So, it doesn't matter whether we use this one or the one that they have, they both basically will do the same thing, is that correct?
They're the exact same.
Okay, that's fine, that's good enough for me. You say so.
All right, we had a motion.
Yes, I'd like to move my motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, passed. Consider approval of appointing one or two representatives from the city council to serve on the Southeast Regional Planning Committee.
Mayor, I'd like to, table that until after the election and see who,
Okay.
is on the council at that time, unless there's an urgency for that to be done at this moment in time.
Do we have a second?
I would like to nominate Anderson McCook. Ain't that what you already did with Dick Cocker? Dick Cocker?
Yes, it is.
I mean, he already doing it. I don't see why.
Well, the motion is to table it. Do I have a second?
Already second.
You second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay, 4-1.
Who voted opposed?
Consider approval,
Okay.
grant authorization for David Waxman's office to bid Sandy Creek debris removal portion of the 2016 flood grant, 1907647 B700. Go ahead.
This project is the $2 million flood grant that through the General Land Office to improve debris on Sandy Creek from 96 north, and also to build a detention pond northeast of town. We are ready to move forward. We have environmental clearance finally, and we're ready to move forward to bid the debris removal portion of the project, so this is authorization for that. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just I know about where it's all at, but did they give you if it's approved, you have some kind of time frame when they start? This is a summer project or?
Yeah, this is as soon as we get authorization, we'll, get with the engineer, the plans and specs are done, we could advertise in the next couple of weeks. We'll have to advertise 2 consecutive weeks and then have a bid opening 15 days after that.
I'd like.
So yes, sir, this will happen very quickly after a very long wait for environmental clearance for the General Land Office.
Now, is there gonna be any cleanage? Any creeks that feed into Sandy Creek, or is it strictly? Sandy
This is
Creek?
down in the creek bed, and this is the removal of dead debris only, and I can provide you with, there's very specific, guidelines on what we can and can't take out. We have rights of entry for each property owner, which, along the route to do so, and they're actually very happy that we're gonna be able to do this, but yeah, it's strictly debris
I've
removal.
been fighting back there behind my house.
Well, yeah, we wish. But this is on Sandy Creek, and that will, that's that one. And then the next thing we'll do is the detention pond, but this is strictly to bid the creek, because we're ready to do that.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me, please. I'd like to make a point of order here to go back to, item number 8. Because according to, Mr. Holmes made a motion to, and denied him his motion. According to parliamentary procedure, if more than one motion is proposed, the most recent takes precedence over the ones preceding. For example, if somebody, like, Councilman, Laura, she made the motion to table the discussion. If that's proposed, then it must be voted on like we did, and then if a motion to amend it can be decided. He did that,
Who did?
Councilman Holmes. So we get to vote on both. You can vote on, but you already voted on that one, you can vote on the other. You can look it up, Robert's Rules of Order, parliamentary procedure, you can do that.
Okay. Let's go back to number 8. You made a motion to appoint Anderson, correct? All in favor?
Wait, point of order, sorry. So I made the motion first,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
And to
You made a
table
motion
it.
to table it.
Okay, now, what transpired next?
He made a motion, which he can do.
He made-
But he was supposed to, the mayor, call for, all in favor, to get the proceeding through, but Councilman Holmes made another
She
motion.
made a motion first,
To take,
correct?
correct. So another motion was made, that motion can be addressed.
Okay, and we're addressing it. All in favor of appointing?
You can look it
Anderson?
up, read Robert's Rules of Order,
if I'm not mistaken, Councilman,
It's
Councilman, am I
okay.
wrong?
Anderson, we're trying to, do you want us to vote on it?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of appointing Anderson Land to the South East Texas Regional Planning Committee, say aye.
Aye.
2. All opposed? There's 1.
I'm opposed to it.
There's 3. It failed. Number 10. Is this the,
It's a different one, Mayor.
okay,
I got 3 tonight, sorry.
that's okay.
That's good.
Trying
This
to get
is the
stuff
grant
done.
authorization. Tell us about this one.
Okay, so the second part of the same 2016 flood project is to build a detention pond northeast of town. And the property has been identified, but because it exceeds the well, actually not GLO, the HUD Uniform Relocation Act cap of $50,000, we must have an appraisal and a review appraisal associated with the acquisition of the property. So, this is authorization for me to work with the city staff to advertise and hire both an appraiser and a review appraiser. So what will happen is we will go to the property owner and make an offer on behalf of the city. Now that we're environmentally cleared, we're able to do that. And then once we agree to a price, then we have to have an appraiser and a review appraiser to look at the property and concur with the price before we can move forward to purchase.
Do you know about the size that pond's gonna be approximately an acre?
The acreage that we have to purchase is around 100 acres. It's not all of it goes to pond, but a
Sure.
large portion does. The problem is, the piece of property we need is like this, the pond is here, and there'll be an uneconomic remnant here that the property owner couldn't do anything with, so we have to purchase the whole area. So it's approximately
Where's it
100.
located?
It is, northeast of town.
And the county's still doing it
Northeast of
also,
town?
I think.
Yes, sir, I can't disclose the property
Sure,
owner
I
information,
76 and 63.
sorry.
The county does one, the city does one, but still.
Yeah, the county has detention pond in their mitigation project grant.
And they're both gonna be similar size then, approximately.
Yes, and even though there were 2 engineering firms, we did have them discuss to make sure that one wouldn't, conflict with the other.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Pass unanimously.
Thank you.
While you're up here,
Okay,
let's do,
number 13.
yes.
Okay, this amendment to our administration contract does not change anything about the contract, the original terms that we proposed. The GLO required that we enter into a contract with the city prior to writing the application. At that time, we had no idea what the project would be or how much money we would apply for, so we quoted a percentage. The GLO, now that the mitigation grant has been awarded, the GLO wants clarification on our contract to include the actual fee amount as well as the dates of the effective dates of the contract, which we did not have at the time that we wrote the application either. So the amendment that's in front of you is strictly for clarification.
Okay.
And
We
that-
have a motion,
I move that we,
I'll
approve that
second
amendment.
that.
and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And that's 21 or 23 streets altogether?
I think it's 23. It's 11.2 million,
I knew it was over.
yes. And
That's
we were the
all-
highest scoring application in the state.
And
Very
that's
proud
all,
of that.
and that's all street.
Yes, sir, all streets.
And all these streets were in the grant, so
Yes.
that's how you determine which streets.
We worked with the city staff and the engineer to come up with the streets throughout the city. They're spread out all over town, which allows us to use the citywide benefit for the city of Jasper instead of having to survey individual locations. I think it's gonna be a wonderful project for the city.
I do too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it, look forward to working.
All right, we have item 11 and 12 are both deal with the broadband. We'll start with 12 first. Consider approval and adoption of the contract with Kramer Service Group LLC for the Jasper broadband project.
I'd like to make a motion that we postpone indefinitely the signing of this contract with Kramer Services.
We've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Got a second?
We got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Can we
Aye.
have discussion, Mayor?
If you want to,
Yes, I think so.
go for it.
I'd just like to say that I think this is a great project for the citizens of Jasper. And I understand there's a lot of questions about it. I think there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. And, I think our citizens deserve that. I think there's been a couple of, events that have been held to try and answer some questions. For whatever reason, people weren't able to attend all of those events. I've had some phone calls, and I just think that this should be, tabled, and I think that we need to have some more, allow our citizens to have the opportunity to ask some more questions. I think it's a great project, and I just think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. I think there's a lot of, misunderstanding about the project. I think we can do better. I would encourage the citizens to, get their questions out there and let's get them answered. I still have some questions myself. I had somebody call today and they're all legitimate questions. And again, I think this is a great opportunity for our community, but I just would feel better if there were some more questions, answered. Because this is a community project, and, that's how I feel about it.
And I will concur with that. I'll agree with you on that, but I also would like to say, if it's that many questions, I still think it should be postponed indefinitely until you can table it. What are you gonna do, bring it up again next month? If you're gonna think you're gonna have all the questions answered next month, it's possible. Doesn't mean just because you postpone it indefinitely, doesn't mean you can't bring it back up.
What was
Just
your
like it be
motion,
tabled.
Anderson? To do away with it completely?
Postpone it indefinitely.
And who was the second?
Randy, it's already been approved, it's already been passed, isn't that right?
We haven't voted on it.
Not the actual contract.
The project.
No, not the
Contract.
The broadband has been approved,
Yes,
and so we go from there.
well, we just ratified the contract. We're just gonna delay
And you
it.
approved the bid, Councilman, but we didn't,
We've had a motion.
what do you mean it's been approved?
Here's,
Nothing's been, has anything been signed? It has, I don't know anything about it.
No, it was approved that there would be a broadband in Jasper, that's all.
Yep.
That's all.
So
We
what's your
approve.
point, Counselor? Ferry Basin Villas?
I'm just saying that we don't have any contract.
Correct.
Correct.
so we've approved the project.
We've approved the bid.
No, the contract, we have
I
approved,
mean, we approved the project, and with this right here, we have a contract that has been adopted and we're reviewing it. Denise, when was the contract sent out via email to the council? About a week and a half ago?
March the
It
7th.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
He made a motion
Yes.
to delay it indefinitely. She seconded,
Okay.
so we
But
now have a vote.
I think we're discussing still,
Well,
aren't we?
did you second? I thought you seconded.
Home second.
Home second.
And I'm just speaking, I think I'm
She's
speaking.
just
to
speaking
it.
in the discussion phase of the,
Yeah, I
process.
think I'm speaking to it. So I think we're still discussing, so did you have?
But you have to have a second before we can discuss it.
Again,
No, sir.
again,
You
Mayor.
did have a second.
Okay. Okay, so I think, Michael, you're talking, and I think we haven't called the question yet, so you are still able to talk. Is that correct, Mayor? Okay,
That is
One of the
Okay.
procedures, that's the way he can,
okay.
we're still discussing, anybody can, we all can still talk.
Yeah, so we are considering approval for the adoption of the contract with Kramer Service Group LLC. That's correct. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody in the room.
Yeah.
That's the agenda item, that we consider that. I moved that we postpone it indefinitely, and it was second.
Correct.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's all opposed? Did you abstain?
I'm here then.
Don't think too long.
So we made a second.
We made a motion and a
So
second.
you want to, we've made approval to indefinitely suspend.
And we have 3 votes.
I'm not,
You voted,
That's-
we voted, we have 3 votes to do away with it. Or-
I said to
or
postpone it indefinitely. Doesn't mean postpone it indefinitely.
postpone it,
You can always
and
bring it back.
Anderson, just for clarification for me, when you're saying postpone it, is that also, you're saying, let's table it, let's have a few more opportunities for our citizens to ask questions, is that what you're,
Basically, that's what I'm saying, we're gonna postpone it, that's a postponing the table, is like, well, we can bring it back up next month, whatever, but we need to, like you said, if we got that many questions on it, we need those questions answered before we
Okay,
move
so
forward
we
with that.
are tabling it. You made the motion.
I made the motion to postpone it
Ms.
indefinitely,
Starr to table.
but doesn't mean that we can
to
bring it back
table
up.
it, yes. I think there's a lot of questions.
That's not what I said, I didn't say table it, that's not what I said, I said postpone it indefinitely. That doesn't mean that you can't bring it back up, but for right now, I wanna postpone it indefinitely.
Postponing it definitely, you know that.
Yes, I do. I'm pretty smart. I think I can figure it out.
Thank you, Anderson.
Oh, so,
I've already made the motion. We haven't voted on it yet. You've had your discussion about you want to take it. That's not what I'm saying.
All right.
And we have voted on it, correct?
To postpone indefinitely.
Haven't we voted on this?
wait,
Yeah, got voted.
And I think we've had 3 for, 2 against.
That's correct.
That's it, Mayor.
so,
Now, item
now,
11, we don't need to do because it was tied to 12, correct?
But we do need to verify the fact that the funds that we have spent thus far regarding broadband needs to come from Cambridge.
Yes, okay. Do I have a motion for 11?
How much have we spent?
Clarification.
Would you make a motion to pass for that clarification?
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it. I agree.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
All opposed? Okay.
We need a discussion, Mayor. Denise, did you?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, when y'all talked, it was started with the $125,000 that we did for the feasibility study in advance. You know, we talked about it, but I don't think it was specifically in the minutes that it came from Cambridge.
Okay.
So in order to make sure that our records are clear for our purposes, because that's where the money would have to come from to pay for it out of the Cambridge funds, we needed.
How much are we talking about so far? Just 125,000?
Well, but you signed an agreement for 425,000,
Yeah.
I mean, 300.
325,000 and 125,000, which comes to 400.
325
It's
for.
better than
design.
16 million to me, but yeah,
Design.
I think that's okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
so.
I talked to her on Saturday. She was trying to connect with me. How wonderful. Thank you, Steve. Oh, I am.
Hey, brother, you doing all right? You know Steve. Good to see you, man. You doing all right? Yeah. Oh, good job.
I said something about